universe, we have the noosphere, which exists in time. This is ideas. Noosphere, nous is Greek for mind, sphere is the realm that it exists in. So it's the realm of mind or of thought or of information. Infosphere would be kind of a more modern portmanteau for it. Yeah, so this is time. My idea is that information exists in time, like matter exists in space. So we have the space here, our familiar Cartesian diagram of space that we all know and love. We have the three spatial dimensions: length, height, width. And these dimensions describe the space in which we live. They sum it up. Those are the three elements in which you can move in space. We know from this guy up here, Hermes Trismegistus, who was kind of a legendary scholar that wrote many texts which were lost in the Library of Alexandria, the Emerald Tablet, the Corpus Hermeticum. But from him we know about this, we get this idea of as above, so below, or the idea that kind of we're living in a fractal universe. That, and you can see this, you see this in the way things are put together, like grains of sand on the beach, or like, there's the way a tree is put together, each individual branch kind of mirrors the structure of the larger tree. You see fractals all over the place in nature, the formations of seashells and ferns. There's always these repeated patterns that you see in existence. So, space and time are no stranger to this. They also exist in a similar way. Important to keep in mind, though, that they are similar, but as with fractals, like if you take the triangle and you do smaller triangles on the edges and then smaller triangles on the edges, and that kind of simple fractal, they're not the same. They're on a different scale. And if you look at them all together, they change. They're not the same. Which in our language, the big problem that we have when talking about time, and talking about these different levels of existence, I believe, is that we are just, our awareness comes from this very physical and hylic kind of awareness. So we think of existence as being that hylosphere. We identify existence with space. And then when we look at time, we can only talk about it in context of space. The past is behind us, the future's in front of us, things like that. What's going to happen next, the universe next door, things like that. These are all spatial terms. And time is similar to space, but it is not space, it's a different thing. But still analogous. So it would be structured in this similar way. Again, this is a graphic representation which works a little bit better when you're talking about space, because a graphic exists in space. And it does exist in time too, but it's about space. You're physically drawing it in physical space, which is something you can experience with your senses, the physical senses that we're used to identifying identity with. But time is a little bit different. We are not as used to moving around in time as we are moving around space and manipulating it. And time is not something that we really understand. The same way that we can understand space, I feel. So the similar, but we do know that it is similar because of Hermes Trismegistus' fractal reality. So there's going to be corresponding pieces of time, corresponding dimensions in time like there are in space. Currently, we really only think of one dimension in time, the fourth dimension, which is duration. Time, it's called time. Time is a little bit more complex than just duration. I think that in our heads we usually think of duration as just time, or time is just duration, but it's more than that. Duration is that causal chain, events happening one after another, which we all kind of have this fatalist kind of like, this has happened and it is the thing that happened, the thing that the future that occurs is going to occur, and I'm moving towards